Welcome back. Today there might be some overhead noise. The last few videos I've filmed in the afternoon and there's been a few planes flying around, so I apologise for that if it is an issue. Today I wanted to take you through my June favourites, ranging from perfume through to skincare. So let's just get on with it. I don't know how long this is going to take. For those of you who typically come for the perfume content, which is, let's face it, 99% of this channel, I will start with the perfumes. So these fragrances I'm about to talk about are my most worn and my most enjoyed throughout the month of June. So for whatever reason, I just really resonated with these fragrances this month and thoroughly enjoyed every minute that I was wearing them. The first one probably won't be a surprise, but given that the weather has cooled down here, we are in winter now, although you wouldn't know it today because the weather is just so stunningly beautiful and it's actually quite warm in the sun. Poppy is actually lying out there as we speak. On the deck, just sunning herself in the sun. I'll insert a clip here. Anyway, so the first fragrance in the lineup for June, which I've been thoroughly enjoying, has been Ormond Jane's Almond Woman. I really do adore this perfume. I can't get enough of it. And what's there to say about it? I've spoken about it so many times. For the regular viewers, you're probably sick of hearing about it. But effectively for me, it's a foresty green, sort of got that dark green edge to it, very woody, and there's some beautiful florals in there as well. It's also quite heavy on the cardamom, which I really, really love. You really get that blast of cardamom in the opening, but the cardamom is definitely prominent throughout the entire wear of this fragrance, and I think that's what contributes to its greenness. But there is also a grass oil in here as well, which just gives it a very deep greenness without being too sharp or too zingy. So that is a really beautiful, spicy, woody green with a touch of florals. Absolutely gorgeous fragrance, perfect all year round really, but I really love to wear it in the winter time. Next up is a brand newie in my collection. It literally arrived this week. This is Swisse by Perfumes. This is the perfume brand that Pep from the Sentinel is heavily involved in, and this is absolutely my standout favorite from the brand. As soon as I tried, this is also their latest release I think, but as soon as I tried this, that was it. I knew this was the one that I wanted because they're all pretty good. They've all got a very earthy, natural feel to them, but this one, hands down, my favorite. I don't want to talk about it too much because I literally just got it this week, so I have been through a sample of it. So I have worn it quite a bit, but I do want to do a review on this one. So I'll hold out until then, but basically it's actually touted as being, or Marie, who's the perfumer, actually considers this to be a summer fragrance, which I thought was interesting because when I was sampling it, it was autumn and I was thinking this is the perfect autumn fragrance, but it is kind of hard to explain. To me, it has a really golden hue to it. It reminds me of golden dried grasses and damp earth and dried flowers. So that's all I'll say about it for now. It's really beautiful. It's quite calming and introspective. It just makes me think of being mindful and being deliberate and meticulous. I don't know, that's just how it comes off for me. A bit of a weird description, that one, but I will work on it. Like I said, I do want to do a full review of this one, but I'm not quite ready yet because it's a hard one. It's a tricky one. Anyway, that was Swisse by Perfumes. Sandalwood Temple by Sana Jardin. Again, another fragrance that has been one of my favorites for a very long time. I used to talk about this one a lot. I did stop wearing it for a while, not because I didn't enjoy it, just because I wanted to explore other things that I have in my wardrobe, because obviously there's a lot there. So I just gave this one a little bit of a rest, but yeah, I pulled it out this month and I've been really enjoying wearing this one. It's a sandalwood fragrance, as you would imagine. I feel like there's a bit of incense in there because it has just a slight hint of smokiness to it, but very, very, very subtle, not overpowering at all. And it also has a sweetness in there as well. Very wearable, very pleasant, very calming sort of scent. I suppose I have sort of been gravitating towards more calmer scents this month just because it has been quite a stressful month work-wise, and in fact I shouldn't be filming this right now. I have work to do that I need to get done before tomorrow, but it's Sunday afternoon right now. But I didn't have a video ready for this weekend, and in fact this probably won't get uploaded this weekend anyway. However, I just wanted a chance to have something ready to go for next weekend, because this week coming is extremely busy, and I probably am going to be a bit frantic until Friday. All right, next up we have French Flower by Matière Première. I talked about this recently on my wedding fragrances video where I was going through some of the perfumes that I was considering for my wedding. This is definitely still a contender. It's primarily tuberose, but the tuberose feels very natural smelling, even though I don't think I've smelled tuberose in the wild, so to speak, in real life. This perfume has been made using the enfleurage technique, where they put the petals into fat to absorb the aroma and then they process the fat. My understanding is that it's not a technique that's commonly used these days. There are other methods of extracting the fragrance that's possibly less labor intensive and more economical. But I believe with this perfume they wanted to pay homage to traditional perfumery methods, and it does have a different smell and a sort of a different texture to it than, you know, other tuberose fragrances that I've smelled. Whether that's because of that technique that they've used or whether it's because of, you know, the combination of ingredients in here, I don't know. There is pear in the top of this, and then there's also some ginger and some tea notes, I think. And what's interesting about this one is that it has a little bit of a slight Play-Doh-y sort of vibe to it, and I really enjoy that. It just gives this really luxurious sort of thick texture to the perfume, and man, this stays on for a long time. I have worn a fair bit of this little bottle. This is a 6ml bottle, but you don't need to wear much of it when you wear it. So this is a few wears worth. And this morning, Matt and I went out for a few hours, and I was going to wear a jumper that I had been wearing the first time that I wore this. That was a good couple of weeks ago, and I could still smell the perfume on my jumper really clearly. So that is French Flower. It'll be great for a wedding because it lasts forever. Another one that lasts forever and that I've been absolutely loving, and I'm kind of bummed that I love it so much because it does get a lot of hype. But this is a sample of Amouage Guidance. I didn't really love this one to start with. It wasn't my favorite. It was a bit weird to me, and I just couldn't get on board with that hazelnut note at first. When I had the sample, my first sample, this is now my second sample, and it's almost done. And these are quite generous size samples too. I think they might be 3ml. The day that I sampled this the first time, I didn't like it. Initially, I sort of wrote it off after the first spray, and then after a few hours, I was thinking, ooh, this smells quite nice now. The frankincense in here, coupled with that hazelnut, coupled with the rose, I don't know, it just does something really special in this fragrance. I have written a full review of this on my blog, which is unusual for me because I'm not that active on my blog. I am trying to be, but it's taking a while to sort of get the habit and the rhythm of writing regularly. Anyway, this one, absolutely loving it. Probably will be upgrading to a full bottle, even though I'm kind of resistant to do so because everyone has a bottle of this now. But it is truly a beautiful fragrance, and I'm glad that I gave it time and took the time to understand it a little bit better, although my bank account may not be so happy about that. Next up, I have another green one, and this is a bottle of Chanel number 19 Parfum. This is I can't remember what year, I think it was a 1991 bottle, this one, and I just love these little bottles. They're so beautiful. I'm sort of half contemplating a Chanel perfume for my wedding day, just so that I can get maybe the Parfum version of it, because I just love these little bottles, and it'll travel so nicely because it's so little and light. But they do pack a bit of a punch in the Parfum concentration. This one is pretty well known. It's a green floral fragrance. There's lots of galbanum in here, but there's also, I think, a little bit of oak moss. I feel like there's oak moss in there. And then there's also quite a bit of iris in there as well. It really is a stunning perfume, and I'm very, very glad to have this Parfum version, which I bought off a friend in Fragcom a couple of years ago. That is Chanel No. 19 Parfum. Just a really good all year round perfume. It stands up in the cold weather, but it's also a beautiful one to wear in the heat as well because of that green tone to it. And then finally, this one might come as a bit of a surprise. This is Givenchy's L'Interdit Rouge. I found it hard to get on board with the L'Interdit range, particularly the reformulated versions, because they are very, very sweet, and my memory of L'Interdit from many, many years ago was that it wasn't that sweet. It was just more focused on the white florals. I do quite like this one though. This one has been getting a lot of airtime. This has a bit of a spicy ginger opening to it, and then it blends into that really sweet white floral base that probably every woman and child on the planet knows by now, because I think these fragrances are quite popular. I will say I'm quite curious to try the Burning Neroli one. That's a limited edition and it hasn't hit Australia yet. And I'm a little bit worried that it's not going to come to Australia. Although we did get the Jasmine one, and there was another one that I think we got, which was also limited edition. So perhaps it will come, it's just taking its time. Yeah, anyway, this has been really lovely for the days when I want something really sweet. It just makes me happy, and I don't know why, possibly because it's so sweet. I really enjoy this. So that is L'Interdit Rouge by Givenchy. I almost forgot, the last one that I want to mention, which I've also been wearing quite a bit this month, has been Fleur de Lolita by decant Parfums. I didn't expect to wear this quite so much in the cooler months, because to me, it's something that I would have thought would have been more appropriate for spring. I'm sorry about the plains. But because it is so earthy, it actually does really work in the wintertime as well. And I think part of the reason I like to wear this is because it sort of brightens a cold day in a very elegant manner. You know, when you're wearing lots of heavy clothes and maybe you feel a little bit constricted, or sometimes I feel a bit overwhelmed by my clothing if I have to wear lots of layers to keep warm. And wearing something like this that's so airy, it's got a brightness to it, but it's also quite earthy. Yeah, I just really, really love it. And it makes me feel like the air is a bit more open or something, you know, and it's easier to breathe, which is kind of ironic because most people would probably say that having perfume in the air would make it less easy to breathe, but that's just how I feel about it. That is decant Parfums Fleur de Lolita. All right, keeping with the theme of fragrance, I just want to go through a couple of home fragrance items. And we all know I do love a candle. And recently I was contacted by this company, Birth Date Candles. And what they do is they get you to give them your birth date when you go to buy a candle, and they make a candle according to your birthday. Mine turned out to be rose, chamomile, and ylang ylang. And I have to say, I really, really like it. It sort of smells quite musky to me, actually. The scent is very subtle, it's very soft. It's a very pleasant scent, and it's a very easy one to have in your presence. So I think they did well on that front. I actually think these candles would make a really great gift because it's a candle, but there's, you know, something a little bit extra, especially if you have a friend who is really into astrology and things like that. It's just a nice little touch because you get a bit of a description of the star sign and some of the characteristics of the personality traits and things like that on the back. And then you just have a few little stats around the astrological star sign and obviously the scent of the candle on the front. And it's quite presented really well. The jar itself is quite cute. They're relatively affordable too, if I remember correctly. I did have a look at the website, particularly because I was thinking of repurchasing, but I thought I might try some different scent profiles. Obviously, I can't comment on, you know, how long it lasts yet, but I have been burning this for quite some time and I still have barely touched it. Burn time, I can't remember. Oh, here we go. 380 grams is the size of this one, and the burn time is 60 to 80 hours, which is consistent with most other candles of this size. So that doesn't surprise me. So the Birth Date Candle Company is a South Asian company that was founded in 2019. The candles are now all hand poured in the US. They comprise a blend of soy, apricot, and coconut wax, and their wicks are 100% cotton with no lead. And on their website, they say that they have worked hand in hand with master perfumers to craft bespoke fragrances based on the personality traits identified in the astrological readings. Personalized scents are woodsy, mystical, and floral, and they are custom made to calm and soothe the spirit of the recipient. The scent overall is quite subtle. It's not a super strong fragrance, but it does permeate pretty well throughout a big room. But I would say this, as far as scent strength goes, it's probably on the sort of mid to more subtle end of the spectrum rather than being super strong, which I appreciate because I've been burning this one in my office quite a bit, and it is nice to be able to have it there on my desk. I like the aesthetic of a candle burning, so I like to have that little golden glow, but because the scent is fairly subtle, it makes it much easier to handle in close proximity. I do appreciate that, but just be aware of that if you're thinking of buying any of these and putting them in a big room. Their scent profile is present, but subtle. So that is by the Birth Date Candle Company. I do have a discount code. If you are interested in making a purchase, you can find the discount code down below. There's also an affiliate link there, so if you use the affiliate link, I do get a commission, and thank you very much if you do, but no obligation to do so. I think if you just use the code, I don't get a commission, and that is just purely for you guys. But if you use the affiliate link as well, you can use the code and still get the discount. So thank you so much to the Birth Date Candle Company for sending me that one. I have really been enjoying it, and I will be purchasing a refill. So watch this space. I might see if I can change up the birth dates or something, guys, and then come back to you on a different scent profile. And then next up is another home fragrance product. This was a little bit of an investment. I went to a Trudon masterclass at our local perfumery recently. I signed up with a couple of friends and we dialed in. Actually, I went to my friend's place and we had wine and cheese and then dialed in together. And it was a lovely afternoon. And the whole purpose of the masterclass was really to launch this new scent, this new candle from Trudon. They also released it in the diffuser format, and because I already have so many candles, I thought I might get the diffuser instead. So this is the beautiful Tuileries diffuser by Trudon. I don't think I'm capturing the beauty of the glass very well, and for some reason my lights seem really dark all of a sudden, so I'm not sure if usually they're a lot brighter than that. But the glass is a really beautiful peachy pink color and it's all frosted. It just looks absolutely stunning. I was really sold on the diffuser just based on the appearance. The scent itself is a really beautiful sort of musky, fruity, floral scent. It's a little bit aromatic as well, but mostly I sort of get fruits and florals. It's not overly fruity and not overly sweet, but definitely a slightly different scent profile to the usual Trudon fare. So if you feel like you haven't really gotten along with Trudon fragrances to date, then this one might be more your speed. I feel like this is definitely more of a crowd-pleasing scent profile than some of their other ones. Anyway, so that is the very big investment of Tuileries by Cire Trudon in the diffuser format. And then finally, I'll talk about a couple of body, skincare and makeup products. I should get through these pretty quickly because there aren't that many, but the first two are fragrance related also. In fact, the first three are also fragrance related. First one is the Rosewater Hydrating Mist Toner from Swisse. This is just a cheapy rose water that I got to replace the beautiful sample of rose water from Santa Maria Novella that I was given as part of an order. You may recall I've spoken about that in a previous video, or did I? Did I talk about it? I'm pretty sure I spoke about it in a previous video. I absolutely loved that product. It just felt so beautiful on the skin. This one is also quite lovely. The way I use it is I just, after a shower, I spritz it on, particularly on my face, to just get a little bit more moisture on it after I've dried myself off and before I apply my skincare. So it's really, the whole purpose is just to stop that feeling of dryness that I get as soon as I hop out of the shower and dry my skin. And it works pretty well for that. I don't think it really does much else. But it's also got a lovely scent to it. It smells like rose water, so there is that. But I have to confess, I do miss the Santa Maria Novella one. I just think that whatever Santa Maria Novella put in their rose water, it feels a little bit more nourishing. This one effectively just feels more watery than the Santa Maria Novella one. I think they must put a little bit more, I don't know, aloe vera or something in it. I don't know what they put in it to make it feel so silky on your skin, but this doesn't quite have the same effect. But it's very nice anyway, and again, much, much more affordable. I think I paid $8 for this. The next two are products that I keep forgetting to talk about. Quite some time ago, I think Sam from My World of Fragrance mentioned this product, and then I happened to be in a store and I saw it, so I picked up a bottle, and I just got the little 50 ml bottle to start with. But then I really, really loved it. I went through it really quickly, and so I upgraded to a bigger bottle this time. But this is the Nuxe body oil. You've probably heard about it. I think a lot of people talk about this product. I also have the shimmering body oil as well, but that doesn't smell quite the same as this. That has a beautiful glow, puts a beautiful glow to your skin. It doesn't make you look sparkly, even though looking at the jar you think it would be. I didn't bring the jar up with me though, so this one just smells beautiful, and it's a lovely body oil, I have to say. A lot of people say they don't feel it's greasy. I do feel like, I don't think this is a dry body oil. Do they call it a dry body oil? They do call it a dry body oil, but I don't feel like this is as dry as some other body oils that I've used in the past. I do still feel like I can feel the oil on my skin for a little while after I've applied it, but that sensation doesn't last too long. But I do feel like I need to give it a little bit of time to settle into my skin before I put clothes on. It sort of has an ambery scent profile to it. It's very subtle, it's very translucent, but it smells beautiful. If of an evening I'm not feeling like I want to wear perfume to bed, you know, maybe I went in really hard with a perfume that day or something really heavy, or maybe I was just sampling a lot and my nose was done, then I'll just wear this basically. And it's just I feel like I smell really good, but it doesn't necessarily feel like I'm wearing perfume per se. So that is really, really nice. I highly recommend this. As I said, this is my second bottle. I've already been through a 50 ml and I'm now onto the 100 ml bottles. And I've only had this brand new one for, I'd say, a couple of weeks. So I'm already making quite a dent in it. So that's really nice. They've also brought out the oil in different scent profiles. So they have this one called Floral. And this one I only bought in the 50 ml because I couldn't smell it in person. I bought it online, but I'm really bummed because the online store that I just bought this from just announced that they now are stocking the neroli version of this, which is in a green bottle. Although having said that, I feel like there's quite a bit of neroli in this one as well, but this one does actually still lean a little bit more floral. And this one also, when it's been on my skin for a little while, it starts to lean, you know, sort of into an aquatic scent profile, so a watery sort of scent profile, which I have to say isn't my favorite. I don't dislike it, it still smells really nice, but you know, I just don't get along necessarily with aquatic type smells. So for that reason, this wouldn't be my favorite. I still prefer the original one. But for days when you want something a bit lighter and a bit fresher smelling, because that smells, as I said, it smells ambery and kind of spicy, but this one smells more fresh and floral and aquatic. So if you want something a bit lighter, this one is also really, really nice. They are just beautiful products, and I'm actually thinking of getting another smaller version of the original one to take with me on my travels, although we are going to France, so maybe I could just get it in France. Sadly, a few video files were corrupted when I went to edit them, so I will have to revisit the last few products in a later video. So that is it for my June favourites. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know down below what you've been enjoying lately, whether it's perfume or otherwise. Books especially, I really need a good book recommendation, and I'm gonna have to go now because the dog is whining at me. Shh, Poppy. Thanks everyone, thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.